Standing strong in a new land. Daniel was a young boy from Jerusalem who loved God with all his heart. When soldiers from Babylon captured his city, Daniel was taken far away from his family and home. Everything around him was strange. The people, the language, the food, even the way they worshipped. But Daniel decided that no matter where he lived, he would still belong to God. He knew that even in a new land, God would never forget him. Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were chosen to serve in the palace. They had to learn the language and wisdom of Babylon so they could work for the king. The teachers tried to make them forget their God and their people, but Daniel quietly stayed faithful. Every day he prayed and remembered the laws God had given his people. When the king's servants brought special food from the royal kitchen, Daniel refused to eat it. The food had been offered to idols, and Daniel didn't want to disobey God. Instead, he asked to eat only vegetables and drink water. Though it seemed like a small choice, it showed Daniel's big faith. After 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier and stronger than everyone else. The chief servant was amazed and allowed them to keep eating their simple food. God was pleased with Daniel's obedience and gave him wisdom and understanding beyond his years. When the training was over, Daniel and his friends were wiser than all the other students. Even the great king of Babylon saw that there was something special about them, something that came from God himself. One night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a strange dream that made him very afraid. None of his wise men or magicians could tell him what it meant. But Daniel prayed to God, asking for understanding. God showed Daniel the meaning of the dream in a vision during the night. Daniel praised God, saying, "You give wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the understanding." Daniel told the king that his dream was about a giant statue made of gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay. Each part represented a kingdom that would rise and fall. But a small stone, sent by God, broke the statue into pieces. That stone grew into a great mountain that filled the earth. Daniel explained that God's kingdom would one day come and never be destroyed. King Nebuchadnezzar was amazed and fell down before Daniel. He said, "Surely your God is the greatest of gods and the Lord of kings." Daniel was given rich gifts and made a ruler over many parts of the kingdom. Yet Daniel didn't forget to thank God, knowing that wisdom and honor come only from him. His friends were also promoted, and together they served faithfully. Later, the king built a huge golden statue and ordered everyone to bow down to it. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to worship any idol. Angry, the king threw them into a blazing furnace so hot that even the guards nearby were burned. But inside the fire, the 3 men were not hurt at all, and God had sent an angel to protect them. When the king saw them walking safely in the fire, he called them out in shock. Not a hair on their heads was burned, and their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. Nebuchadnezzar declared, "No other God can save like this." Everyone in Babylon heard how powerful the God of Israel was. Daniel's faith had inspired his friends, and together they had shown God's glory. Time passed, and Nebuchadnezzar grew proud of his great power. Daniel warned him that God rules over every kingdom and can humble any ruler. But the king didn't listen. One day, he lost his mind and lived like an animal in the fields. After many months, he looked up to heaven, thanked God, and his reason returned. He learned that God alone is king over all. Years later, another king named Belshazzar ruled Babylon. He threw a great feast using the gold cups taken from God's temple. As the people laughed and worshipped false gods, a hand appeared and began writing words of fire on the wall. Everyone was terrified. The king called for Daniel, the wise man known for understanding mysteries. Daniel told the king that the words came from God. They meant that Belshazzar had been weighed and found guilty, and that his kingdom would end. That very night, the city of Babylon fell to a new ruler named Darius the Mede. Once again, God's word through Daniel came true exactly as spoken. Daniel continued to serve faithfully under the new king.